$25,000 after taxes, that's a lot of money, Sabrina.
Hello there, friends. My name is Octavian, and I am back once again with some more junk for you. I know you guys absolutely love it, so let's get started. This is going to be episode 26 of the Price Check series, in which I'm going to be going through a full stash tab worth of gear, most of it probably junk, but maybe there's a gem or two in here, IDing it, pricing it, and hopefully allowing you guys to learn a thing or two along the way. Let me just do this real fast so we don't have interruptions like the last episode. And we will go ahead and start touching these things with some wisdom scrolls. Can already see that we've got something worth money, as we've got a relatively high eye level Shaper Touch Quiver, which is always a good thing. Regardless of the base, this is going to be worth around 20C or so. Good bases are worth a bit more, though, because you can roll adds an additional arrow as an affix on Shaper Touch Quivers above a certain eye level, and that is a really, really, really powerful effect. I would not say that anything on this staff is all that good, though. It's got a lot of block stuff going on, but aside from the +2 to socket, Cold Jam's nothing particularly interesting damage-wise, so I don't think it's going to be worth much. Yeah, nothing too interesting going on here either. Some decent amount of LE damage. Let's look at those tiers. We've got a tier 3 and a tier 1 roll as far as the LE damage are concerned, but without attack speed and on a base with 1.3 attacks a second, that does not intrigue me very much. We're missing life, we're missing resists. This is all around just a pretty horrible ring. And not quite as bad as this one, though. Apparently there's some competition going on down here to see who can be the worst ring in my inventory. 94 life is a good start, but some life regen and flat fizz reflected is a bad finish. Chance to gain a power charge on kill is neat for sure, but I don't think it's going to save this helmet. I don't know. Power charge gen is pretty good. Is this full up on suffixes? It's got a prefix, a prefix, a prefix, and a suffix. So you could craft a resist on this and try and sell it for a few chaos. I think earlier in the league that may very well have worked. There's a lot of unique helmets that are seeing play at the moment, though. Things like, well, Abyssus and, what else? I was about to say Bringer of Rain, which is usually true, but Bringer of Rain has been very much pushed out of the meta. A lot more helmets, though, things with, like, supported by concentrated effect or attacks have base crit chance, like the helmet we saw in the last episode, which did end up selling for 3x, actually. Or other such things, mine effects, all that, are just going to be more powerful than 94 life, some power charge gen, and a resist, but honestly, that doesn't even sound that bad. I may very well craft a res in this and list it for, like, 5C. We might see it sell at that point, and it's not too much of an investment to craft that. We've got some leech life and an all-res roll. Really early in the league, that may very well have sold. It's a bit too late for it now. No life, no sale, most likely. 33 ES isn't enough for me to consider trying to sell it to an ES build, considering how few of those there are. I don't know, it's got mana and int as well as in some res, and it's on a diamond base. Diamond is a very good base. Yeah, no, I don't think that would sell. It's a little too messy. No life, no ES, nothing like that. 42 ES, but garbage other stats. We've got trap cooldown, interesting, and trap throwing speed. Nothing else really good though. We're missing any life or resistances it may need. Some attack speed, some crit chance for spells, some AoE. Those are good stats, but all of them are pretty low. Flat cold dispels is actually pretty high, I believe, but that's not going to be enough to save it. Got 39% of fizz's extra fire, some multi, and attack speed. Interesting. Not really the sort of base I would think of as an offhand, but it's got a nice collection of stats there. How high is that multi-roll? It's tier 3. It's pretty high roll on tier 3, though. I don't think this will be competitive as an offhand compared to some of the other ones on the market, but it does have multi and a good roll on the fizz's extra fire, so maybe it'll sell. Some base crit chance for spells, but a bunch of junk otherwise. Got multi and a bunch of junk. Go ahead and enter that. And just quickly going over these, I don't see anything too interesting. Oh, and we get ourselves a prismatic ring to play with. Let's see, were you any good? No, you weren't. So we can go ahead and dump this currency. As I said, I wanted to craft some resistance on this. Oop. You can't store these in your inventory, or rather in your stash tab, but you can technically store them in crafting benches. So, since crafting benches seem just to be an extension of your character's inventory, because this is specific to this character. If I were to go to another character and open the crafting bench, this would be gone. It wouldn't be here. Let's just throw on, I don't know, randomly some lightning resistance. And we'll go ahead and list that for 5. Some power charge gen, decent life roll, and a resist. Oh, thank you for the follow. I need to remember to turn that off when I'm recording. And we're going to go ahead and check the value of this Quiver base as well. So let me get PoE trade up, and let me transition on over to it. Where's my browser? There you are. Boom. Alright, so we're just going to check the value of a Quiver base, that generic Quiver base, since our base is not really any good for its implicit, that is Shaper Touched and eye level 81. Oh, we do want to specify not corrupted, actually. That's a pretty big deal. And I was just about right. Looks like for any old generic Quiver base, it's 20C as your starting point, so we're just going to go ahead and list this bad boy for 20 chaos. And those sell pretty quickly and reliably, I found, so one of the benefits of running Shaper and Elder Zones. I've probably sold maybe 10, 15 of these things at this point. So that's a pretty sizable amount of currency at this point. We've got multi-Physics Extra Fire and attack speed. I do actually want to just check and see what that combination might be worth. So we're just going to look for generic one-handed weapon. We're going to look for as extra fire. Well, as extra fire or cold or lightning are all going to do the same thing. So we can just do this as extra lightning. And as extra cold. As extra cold. Pardon me. And we're going to want to count 1. Add filter group. Global critical strike multiplier. How much is this? This is 29, so just going to put in 25 as our floor. We're going to see what that may be worth by itself. 2,500 results. There's a lot of these, but we didn't specify a minimum on this, which ours is about 40, so I'm actually just going to pop 40 into this. Now we're going to see if that narrows the results that much. Down to 116. That's a bit better. That's a bit better. And then attack speed as an explicit. 28 results, and we're looking at 5, 8, 10. These are, for the most part, going to be one-handers with a crit multi implicit, because that's the easiest place for them to get that. But, well, what is our implicit? Reduced enemy stun threshold, not particularly relevant. So this one's got the multi from the implicit, it's got some attack speed, it's got the 40% multi from the implicit attack speed. It looks like around 10C, 10 to 20 chaos is what we can price this at. Since if we scroll down to some of the more expensive ones, this one's got a lot more multi than ours, as well as space for a crafted wed roll, though we could very well craft on this. Let me go and check real fast what I can craft this thing with. Am I at the wrong bench? Oh, I was at the wrong bench. We can actually craft some elemental damage with attacks, it seems. Am I looking at the wrong thing? Yes, we can. So we could throw some wed on this. So that actually makes it relatively similar to this. So this one does have 65 multi, whereas we would only have 30-ish. So that's a pretty big difference. So I don't think we're going to get up to 100, but maybe we can put this up for like 40 chaos and have it sell. Sure. Though this has 7% pen, and that's 50. Which is, in my opinion, probably going to be better than the mediocre wed we can craft on. So between 30 and 40 chaos is what I'm thinking. If we craft some wed on here and it rolls well, and it did. It did. Decent offhand stat stick for a lot of the builds in the current meta that are going to want something like that. So we can go ahead and list that at like 35 chaos to start with. Alright, back to the dumb tab. Hopefully we find some more equally interesting items. Got a lot of junk bases here, but Shaper Touched means that they are still worth looking at, that's for sure. Some decent bases too. Behemoth Mace isn't bad. Behemoth Mace is in fact basically a T1 base. Nothing too interesting there. Some flat lightning dispels, but nothing else going on. No life. And decent amount of stats, but no life there either. Corrupted, no life. No percent life, no synergistic mods. Looking for attack speed, crit multi, percent life as our 3 sort of priorities on jewels, and then percent damage for various different things, like the percent fizz damage with stays, for instance, are nice along with some of those stats, but won't make the jewel themselves. We've got cast speed, mana, no, bunch of garbage, nothing really particularly good as an offhand here, which is really all you'd be looking for in a base like a Kuruiax, which is a horrible base for your main hand, because it's based like attack speed and fizz damage is really bad. But if it rolls really well like that last club did, then you can use it as an offhand. 52 life, socketed spells have +1 base crit. Those both intrigue me. I do like seeing life and base crit, but it's so bad otherwise that I think it's just vendor food. Got 7% pen, crit chance if you've killed recently. Some flat fire dispels, which actually seems really high. Yeah, T1 flat fire dispels. That's local crit though, the 24% increased crit. And I think the 50% increased crit chance is also local, because it doesn't say 50% global crit chance if you've killed recently, which isn't very good with the rest of the staff. It's one of the first staffs I've seen that came possibly close to being good, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. Oh, I've not seen that enemies explode affix yet. That's pretty cool. 41% wed, area damage, attack speed, and enemies explode. It seems really neat. I have no idea if that's going to be worth anything. I want to look that up, though. So that's 13% total attack speed with the implicit. You get some area damage, you get some wed. Like, if you can take advantage of area damage and wed, which is pretty damn easy to take advantage of, that's what, 78% increased damage, 13% attack speed, and enemies explode? I mean, it's not useful as a main hand, but that enemies explode thing should still happen in your offhand. That's neat. I don't know if an offhand without any of those fizz as extra mods is actually going to sell at all, but that is pretty cool. Some life, some res, some reduced mana reservation, and some chill on block. That's just, yeah, T9 life roll. It's also got implicit life, though. So it's actually, like, over 80 life. And a res, and reservation reduction and chill. Could be good. I think we'll just put that up for, like, 10C. That's just garbage. 34 life, nothing really interesting there. Got some mana and some stats again, similar to actually one of the rings we found over here, and again, it's going to get vendored. 9 life. No life. Okay. So that shield, as I said, we're going to just toss up for 10C. We're going to price check this mace, because that seems neat. Part of me thinks that this is not actually going to hold much value, but it seems like it could be quite useful in the right build. It's just a matter of whether or not the right build is out there. So first things first, we're just going to check and see how much the base is worth. So it's Shaper Touched Behemoth Mace, that is Iron level 81. Because I know the Behemoth Mace is a good base. It's worth like 3 to 5 chaos. There's a few listed at like 1 or some chisels, but it looks like it's about a 5C base. We scroll down and it goes up to 7 pretty quickly. But it should sell fast at 5C, so if like the value of the stats isn't more than 5C, we'll just list it for 5C for the base. But let's look. We can look for generic one-handed to start off. Maybe we'll narrow it down to bases, down to maces, and maybe even behemoth maces if we need to. But attack speed. We had a total attack speed of 13, so we're just gonna put in like 10 here. What else have we got? We got 37% area damage and 41% wed. When I say wed, what I mean is elemental damage with attack skills, which used to be called weapon elemental damage and was renamed back in 3.0. I'm just an old fogey who still uses the wrong words. So we're going to look at 35% wed, 10% attack speed, and I guess area damage? There's a lot of things that like could serve that same purpose. I don't know, it's pretty hard to price this. 35 on that as well. And then enemies explode. Did I use the wrong syntax there? Enemies killed explode. Okay. There. See if there's anything this similar to our weapon. Not online. Check offline as well. And this is the danger of searching too specifically. I'm not surprised we haven't found anything. So we're going to want to... I mean, the wet is more important than the area damage. We can just kind of drop that and see what this brings up. A lot more items. 13 chaos. Or 5 chaos. Sorry. 13 items. Just looking at the wrong number there. We go from 5C to 40C real fast, but these have all been up for a while. Well, actually, no, this is only 16. This is 19 hours. This one's got some crit multi, which is, I suppose, comparable to our percent wet or percent area damage. This one's got 252 DPS. It's on the edge of being, like, usable as a main hand. It's also got, you know, added fire damage, wet, and faster attacks as supports. Damn, that actually seems really good as an offhand. If you can make use of that semi-6 link. Like, an Exalt for that seems like a good deal. I don't know. I think what we'll do is we'll just list this at, like, 10C, because it's so hard to nail down a price on something like this. And just be happy if we get the sale at twice the value of the base. So that's what we'll go ahead and list it for. And we move on to the rest of the tab, which there's not much left to price check here. What have we got? Bunch of garbage thrown together. Same here. Okay. 20% attack speed catches my eye. We've got some LE damage, but they're not very good rolls. And don't think that 111% increased physical damage is going to save it on that front. So it's a little bit of a confused weapon. I'm fairly certain that Apex rapiers do not sell for much just by dint of the base, but I will do the due diligence and check just to make sure. What eye level were you again? 81, not surprising. Shaped, yes. Search. And yeah, there's a bunch up at 2 or 3 chaos, which is not a price point I'm gonna take the time to sell at. Missing life, missing just about anything good, and level 10 item rarity won't save a chest piece with only 12 life and 13 strength on it. So the last few little bits and pieces were all just junk. We did find a few interesting things there though, and I hope that along with me you learned a thing or two, because I certainly did. Thank you for watching the episode. There are 25 other ones previous to this one, so if you're just catching the series now, why not go back and watch some of it? You can, of course, always subscribe to the YouTube channel to catch any new episodes that come out in the future and other content that I make. I'm currently working on a few build guides that should be coming out within the week, as well as just other videos in general, and make thought pieces, talk things, video content on Path of Exile fairly frequently. You can always, of course, follow me on twitch.tv/Octavian0, just down in the description as well. Again, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one.